We got a brand new episode of the Odds and End Zones podcast here on the Bleeding Green Nation Radio Podcast Network. I'm your host, Shamus Clancy, Deputy Sports Editor of PhillyVoice.com. I am joined, as always, by my guy, Zo. Zo, how you doing?
What's up,
Big
bro?
football weekend we just got done, and we got an even bigger one coming up this weekend.
We finally made it. We got through a gigantic college football weekend, and we are full steam ahead on this Tuesday afternoon for everybody listening live and everyone who listens later to a huge pro football weekend. Kicking us off Thursday night, Bills and Rams. I mean, come on.
Oh my God! Dude.
I mean, there's no better way to start the season.
A little over 48 hours away from this. I am so effing.
I'm so excited. I'm very, very, very excited. I mean, there's a couple of great like sports times, for me in general, but always, that NFL opening night, the NBA on TNT opening night is always fun. Just like, like those pillars that tell you that the season has started, you know what I mean? Like that stuff is always fun to me.
Though I'm sure Eagles fans would have preferred them to have won the Super Bowl and have the home opener game on the Thursday night, which we had once, and I won. It was cool seeing.
Yeah.
I do like the just sitting down and chilling aspect of watching this game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've only gone to a Thursday night season opener once in my life, and more likely than not, that's probably the only time I've been there. Maybe I'll be in the press box there next September. Who knows? But I like the idea of just sitting down. It could be just you and your partner or kids, family, or you meet up with your boys, friends, whoever. But sitting down and then like get a nice taste of it. You have probably two playoff contenders right there, and then you go to bed and like, man, I cannot wait for Sunday.
I think that for me personally, the appeal is being able to sit on that opening night and not have to jump right back into it. You know what I mean? Like I get a couple of days still before we have to go psychotic for 8 hours on a Sunday. So like that unless you're a Bills or a Rams fan, obviously you still get that extra couple of days to ramp up. But that Thursday night matchup between Josh Allen and that Rams front seven is exactly what you want to kick the season off with.
Is Josh Allen the most exciting player in the NFL?
I would say, you know what? He's very close. I think that it's tough. Quarterback-wise, I'd probably say yes.
You almost have to do quarterback and then everything else.
Quarterback and everything else, yeah. Like my guy, Jay Herbo, you know how I feel about him, but he's like kind of cookie cutter. He's not really like flash and dash. So I would say, yeah, he's probably out of the quarterbacks. He's probably, if not, he's probably 1 and 1A with whoever else you think is like I think that sometimes Aaron Rodgers sometimes pulls a rabbit out of the hat and it always makes you, leads you at all. But he's definitely probably the most exciting quarterback we have.
I'm trying to think. Maybe Jamar Chase for non-quarterbacks. I think he would be up
non-quarterbacks. Definitely Jamar.
He'd be up there for me.
And I'm a huge Jamar fan. I think that him and Jay Jettis coming out of LSU. I thought that Jamar was just as good. I know that they had different circumstances, how that last season together went, but I'm not surprised, put it that way. Like I wasn't surprised at all to see him have the kind of season he had.
Sixers got Montrez, as we saw. I'm trying to
refresh
any other tweets from Woj or something like that. I thought I got.
You saw my timeline. I love it. I think
2 years, $5.2 million. That's really dirt money.
And a player option like that's I mean, he'll probably if he makes the team, he'll probably cash out on that option unless he has honestly an amazing year, which to be perfectly honest with you, that's what we want. And then he cashes out somewhere else. But I like it. I think it is a move to to toughen up that front line, and also that backing of the roster. They need. Well, I'm speaking to the choir every single year. They needed a backup center. I was all in on B-Ball Paul, but I think that he may be best suited as a backup for. I think that they can get
I
creative
still
with
think
him.
he should be a 4, even though he can't shoot. I still think he's a 4.
I think they're going to get creative with him because I do think he deserves to be on this roster, you know. And I think that look, the bottom line is they're doing all they can to get tougher and to keep, Harden and Embiid as fresh as they can get into the playoffs. That's really what it's all about. That's again, that's what it all comes down to. They're going to win a ton of games during the regular season. They're going to win a lot of basketball games. What it comes down to this team is always the playoffs. Like this iteration for the last 4 years, it's always been the playoffs. Like the regular season means something with them, but it's all going to be about playoffs with them.
If you want more Sixers talk, I've started a new podcast. I guess it's under the Liberty Ballers feed currently. Thirsty Dogs Run Faster. We're covering all Philadelphia sports. Maybe it moves into different feeds in the future. We're still working on some things like that. But me, Paul Hudrick, the site manager, community manager of LibertyBallers.com, great Sixers.
Yeah, he's busy today.
On and off for. Yeah, we ended the chat. Basically, we just recorded the podcast about a half hour ago before we got started, and just ended as soon as the Harold signed the contract. He's like, yeah, you got to work. We got to work. It's all fine.
Yeah.
I saw Field Yates just tweeted the Sixers were the Sixers. I'm all over the place. The Eagles just worked out 3 players today. Wide receiver Alden Tate, who I think maybe switching positions. Dalton Keene, tight end, and tight end Farrad Green. I looked up their profiles. Farrad Green, I will say, did spend some time with the Colts organization as an undrafted free agent in 2020, and that obviously Nick Sirianni was their offensive coordinator during that time. He only played 1 game, but just a note to make in terms of familiarity there. Can't be doing our willing Jesuit pal like that, right?
Right, can't be going to do like that. I know he got
Jesuit pal Jack Stoll.
What game? Well, they only played 2, but I forget which preseason game it was that he got, or it might have been a joint practice where he got yelled at. Sirianni yelled at him for dropping a pass. And I was like, you can't be yelling at my dude like that. But you also can't be dropping the football. So I get it.
If you had to guess what his 40-yard dash time is, what would you say?
Oh, he's probably he's probably a 4.8 dude. Probably a 4.8 guy. Some dudes are like deceptively fast, or like some dudes are quicker, running a route than they are straight line. Because I remember it might have been Mike Mayock when he was doing the combine coverage. He was saying how some dudes, like in his experience, some players are just not quick going north and south, but faster going, zigging and zagging. Or like if you tell a guy to run an out route, he's gonna hit it faster than he hit it if you tell him to just go straight up. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of it is like. A lot of it's all ankles too.
Yeah.
If you hit 5 years ago, if you hit Odell Beckham across the middle on the slant, that's to the house. Yeah. Right. So like it's just a matter of like what kind of speed a guy has.
I'm gonna blow your mind. 4.6 flat. I saw that. I was like, that can't be real.
What
is pre-draft measurables? This is on Wikipedia. 6'8", 247, 4.6 flat, undrafted. You would have thought someone maybe took he can't have had many catches at all in college. Yeah, he could not have had many. But 4.6 was maybe he's deceptively slow. And people say people are deceptively quick. He might be deceptively slow for 4.6.
You might be right. Maybe that's it too. Maybe they're like, this dude's like he's pretty slow for that.
The Eagles have the last couple of drafts have added some guys who are some of the slowest fast guys I've ever seen.
Yeah,
one might have just left the team.
I do not argue with you on that one at all. I 100% agree.
On Saturday for college ball, I went to my buddy's house in Jersey. Then we had a brewery hanging out. Every game I felt like I was saying, this is the greatest college football game ever. And then the next game would happen, and I'd be like, this is the greatest game
ever. I remember, so we were coming home from, we took the kids to see my grandparents on Saturday. So we're coming home, and my dad, while we were at my grandparents' house, I had been watching the the Utah Florida game with my dad, and he texted me and was like,
We are always right.
yeah, he was like, yo, like you won't believe what Utah just did. And I was like, what, did they just score again? And he was like, no, Florida's about to beat them. So like we get in the house, and me and Amari are sitting down on the couch before his bedtime and literally watching Anthony Richardson seal his Heisman tape. So I
Dude,
couldn't.
I am all in on
Yeah,
that, dude.
I'm
I
so
don't not saying necessarily for the Eagles. I'm not it's
right,
not a
right.
criticism. I think he's going to be maybe he's not the best NFL quarterback of the draft
Yeah,
next year, but going to be a super exciting
yeah,
collegiate season
he
from
is.
him.
Yeah, it should also like we should also folks should also know that like when we like a guy, it doesn't necessarily mean we like him for the birds. Like we just
I
like
just like his energy
yeah.
and juice. Yeah.
Like I love him. I don't like I said I know right now I don't know what kind of pro he's going to be. And I'm not really interested because he's he's only one game into the rest of his final college season, but he is going to have one heck of a year this year. And they're going to be as good as as he goes. I don't know just how far they'll go in the SEC, but they'll win some games just off of his arms and legs alone.
Like you're saying that Heisman reel is already building.
Oh yeah, please. He's just tough, man. He's a tough guy, and he just makes good decisions with the football. I really, really do like him. He is gonna be a fun. If you can wait, I'm not quite sure that you want to throw him in right away because you do have to build a certain kind of offense around him. He's almost like Lamar to me, where you need speed guys. You need a good tight end around him, a good, maybe great tight end around him. You need good speed guys on the outside, and you need, a good running back there. So like if you already got that set up and you just need a guy like him, then God bless you. But if you can wait and you can build that kind of offense around him, he's going to take you to the mountaintop. He's very good.
What if the Ravens trade Lamar?
I was just about yeah. They're playing hardball too. Did you see the last?
We talked about it before. We like Tyler Huntley too.
I love Tyler Huntley. Yeah. And they it might have been Josina Anderson. I think yesterday said that let's say it was a holiday, maybe Sunday, but I think she said that there's another offer out there, and Lamar's in no rush to sign it.
Yeah,
he wants, and he's earned the kind of the Deshaun Watson money, but there seems to be no indication that the Ravens folks want to give it to him. I'll say, like I say about anybody who of that level, just pay the man. Why play with him like this? Why even put yourself and your organization through it? Just if that's your guy, just pay him. This all it tells me really is that they don't think he's their guy.
Yeah, and we can't speak to what's going on in that building, but
No.
on the outside, we have to think that the Tyler Huntley restricted free agent thing this offseason is their ace in their hole, their trump card. They're saying, hey, if you don't want to sign this contract, you won't be on the team next year. We're going to go with one of those types of things, right?
Right. And I think that I'm sure they're playing an internal game of chicken as well. I'm sure, who knows what his coach is saying.
What's Harbaugh thinking about this? That's what I want to know. I'm not a media member for the Ravens, but how can any conversation come up during a presser and someone not ask him about that every single time?
Right. Right. What is he saying inside the walls? Is he saying, yo, what is happening? Are we doing this? Or is he saying, I'm with you, I'm with you guys all the way. Or, he might be saying the same thing. He might be saying, look, I'm just going to win with who I have, but I'm sure it doesn't make him sleep any easier at night.
He would have gotten fired if it wasn't for Lamar in 2018. He was going to get fired that year before.
Lamar literally saved his job. Right.
Before they made the switch to him off of Flacco, and then they go on a playoff run.
That was literally going to be his final year there. It's so, I think it's just it's literally the same thing that happened to Sean McDermott at Buffalo. Josh Allen saved his job.
Yeah.
If Josh Allen doesn't come out guns blazing, Sean McDermott's out of a job. So we've seen it twice already. That what kind of impact guys like that have.
So this past college football weekend, I only made one bet, and we talked about it. I took Gators plus 2.5 home dogs
Yep.
against the 7th-ranked Utah Utes, fraudulent team, and I think that's part of the rise for the Florida this year, and especially Richardson, is they have that huge home win to open up the swamps back, all those types of vibes, and maybe that really builds into them getting, who knows, maybe a New Year's Six game. Can't totally say it's out of the picture. They're not going to be a national champion or anything like that, I don't think, but maybe they make their way up. But we talked about Utah, and we both said it almost simultaneously. We didn't prep it. We both thought they were frauds.
Yeah.
And there's an equivalent team in the NFL for me this year, somehow given their hype, respective to what we see at the quarterback position for them, the head coaching position, the offensive play calling position, and maybe something we could say about the organization's relationship with the Archdiocese of New Orleans, if you want to look up some information there. We're talking about the New Orleans Saints this year, and I've seen people have them in the NFC Championship game, that literally the number one seed, and I think that was Peter King.
Talk about you, Peter King.
Number one seed. You. How could you even have them winning the division over Tom Brady, let alone being the first seed in the entire conference?
Bro, literally in the same division as Tom Brady, and you have them. First of all, you have them winning. Second of all, in the conference,
like I won't even say the Eagles are going to be like I don't. That's not going to be my bold prediction this year. I think they could be third maybe, or if things could break really well, second. But they're not going to be bye or anything like that.
Are you kidding, dude? Everybody's got to be shock value. Like everybody's got to be everybody's got to do something to reel you in. So it's for I guess to. He's zigging and where everybody's zagging. So it's got to be, oh, well, the Saints are going to be the number one seed in the conference.
Hey. I dropped this take on Thirsty Dogs Run Fast earlier today. That'll probably be up in the Liberty Followers feed Tuesday. If you listen Wednesday, it should be in there. Jameis Winston, the discourse around him on, I guess you could say, NFL Twitter or football Twitter feels a little strange to me. We could put aside, even if we do this, some of the off-the-field stuff that happened when he was at Florida State. And then you're looking now, he seems like this kind of a cute, our baby boy type player, some weirdos would say on NBA Twitter. Yeah. Whereas this guy's in his, I guess, 6th or 7th season, maybe 7th, 8th season, and throws 30 interceptions in the season. He's goofy. He says these fun things off the field, but that doesn't translate to being a great quarterback in the NFL, given all of the chances he's gotten already. And he was good in very, very limited snaps last year. You also have to remember, Sean Payton ain't walking through that door. Drew Brees still isn't on this team. Michael Thomas isn't the Michael Thomas he was in 2018. There's talent on the defense. There's name talent on defense.
Right.
But to think this coaching combo and quarterback combo can easily walk to the number one seed in the conference when you have a team with Tom Brady and the division that just won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, probably could have won the Super Bowl last year if that comeback doesn't fall short against the Rams. Maybe the Bucks are in the NFC, representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Maybe the Bucks are repeating as champs. I think that the Saints can just steamroll through that. Fraudulent.
I think that also another thing that is just weird about them. I'm sure you'll agree with this, but the vibes around them are just always weird to me. Like
they've won the last 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah, right. And I think that's the discourse too. The discourse around them is always weird. But you look at them, they're, Chris Olave is very good. I like him. I love him. But like, consider who's throwing him the ball, and then you just look at a guy like the Honey Badger, right? And like, you read stuff about it, and it's almost like they don't even want him there anymore. Like they just like, I don't know what else these talking heads are looking at that we're not looking at.
I think there's a better chance because the Eagles own their draft pick, first round pick in 2023. I think there's a better chance that they give the Eagles a top 5 pick than to have the number 1 seed. I'm not saying there's a better chance for them to give a top 5 pick than make the playoffs as a wild card team. But to win the division and be the number 1 seed, there's a better chance they give the Birds a top 5 pick.
There's a much better chance that Howie's got a top 5 pick to play with next year, for sure.
trade in 4 picks so someone could get our boy Anthony Richardson.
Release him from purgatory. Please don't send him to the Saints.
Yeah. Got any picks lined up for this weekend?
I
have 2 already. I probably will make some more on Friday when some lines settle down. But I made 2, obviously both related to the Eagles in some way. One, the obvious one, took the Eagles minus 3.5 in Detroit. You could say what they want. The Detroit, they look like they're going to grind. They're going to work hard. They have Dan Campbell. They have this. Everyone's seeing how gritted they are on Hard Knocks. Once you line up on Sunday, all that gets thrown out the window. I don't know if you realize, but the Eagles also work really hard. The Eagles also practice really hard. The Eagles also have some grit to them. That's not going to magically change on Sunday in Ford Field. So I got the Eagles minus 3.5. I've seen that minus 4 at some places. Shop around like we like to always say. I got the 3.5 on FanDuel yesterday on Monday. So take a look at that.
I like the Birds. I like the 3.5 as well. I also like the Rams. These are my only 2 so far.
What's Rams line? Bills minus 2.5?
2, yeah. Yep. Those are 2 I like so far. I also think that one thing that that's swinging like the narrative ahead of this Birds game, right? And we talk about it all the time, but is the fact that I think people are, I don't want to call them the sexy pick, but Detroit's like the, I guess
we're getting a little NBA hipstery. This is
we're getting very
This is the 2018 Utah Jazz
type thing. Yeah, like they're on Hard Knocks, so now the country loves them. They got a coach who cries like every speech that he gives, so like it's all about grit, stuff like that. Like we know who their best player is. They don't even give him the ball as much as you want as they should.
They go down 17-3 at half. They can't really give them the ball anymore.
Well, that's right. So like people it's a very that's so funny because I was talking to somebody in the barbershop about it. Like their team is so backwards because they go down 20 points at halftime and their best player doesn't even see the ball because he's their running back. So like they're still that kind of team to me. I know they're going to play hard. I get that, but I think a lot of people just assume that the Eagles are reading their press clippings. Like they're going to play hard too. I'm not quite sure if people know this, but
I think 32 of the teams on this week will play hard probably.
Right.
I have to assume the 32 NFL teams that have been preparing for this game for several months now are going to play hard.
That's the one like coach and fan speak that I hate. Like, they're gonna play really hard. Like, we know they're gonna play hard. Like they're professionals.
Maybe in week 13 or 14 they're not gonna play hard.
Now week 14,
week 1, but they're gonna play hard.
Right. They've been beating up on each other for the past 4 months. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna play hard on Sunday. And also, Howie was on the radio today, and Howie was saying that like these guys on this roster haven't played together together as a unit that much, and they also have a lot of stuff to prove. Like, how do you think Jalen Hurts feels? Dude, Jalen Hurts has been tearing for the past 6
months. The Ringer
months.
just ranked him the 21st best quarterback in NFL behind Marcus Mariota, Baker Mayfield.
Like, come on. You think he doesn't have anything to prove? You think he's gonna come in and play the Olay part for that Detroit?
He knows the sand's running out. Time's running out. He's got to go full blast this year.
It's right in front of him. And he's a professional. He's a big boy. He can take it. I'm quite sure.
Yeah, we talk about the mental makeup is incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure that his coaches and his GM in some form or fashion have come to him and said, "All right, here's the keys again. Like this is it. So you should either drive us to where we need to be, or we'll have to put it to somebody else who will." But I just don't think that. I think that sometimes people overanalyze, and overanalyzation is silly. Like, just say who you think has the most talented roster. Like, all right, you think the Eagles have the most talented roster, then that's probably your bet on who's going to win that game on Sunday. Like, it's pretty basic.
The other game I've bet on so far, and I truly, truly wish the Eagles were playing at 4:00 and I could watch this game by itself on 1:00. two huge Eagles factors here. We have the Jaguars playing in Landover, Maryland against the newly named Washington Commanders. It'll be the first time ever Carson Wentz will be going against Doug Peterson as an opposing head coach.
Isn't that
I
crazy?
whacked Jaguars money line plus 138. I've seen Jaguars spread plus 4.
Yep.
This week 1 slate, a little confusing to me, as I think week 1 can be usually. I think more often than not, whacking dogs this week is probably your best bet. And I think, smarter pick is plus 4, but seeing the value there plus 138, I went money line.
There's a, you can probably find it later, but there is a Michael Pittman Jr. quote where he says, like, the team already looks different under Matt Ryan, because last year they were just running around playing football, but this year they have an expectation on where to be on the field at all times.
That's definitely good.
Yeah. So I read it right before we popped on. It made me, so I'm glad we're talking about it because it made me crack up. And the guy, he's a good politician because he said everything aside from, Wentz sucked last year. But he was like, yeah, you can notice the difference right away.
Did we tell last week or the week before about that reporter just absolutely annihilating him?
Oh,
that TV.
It might have been the week before. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was last week. I think that was so insane. Like, respect for journalism, but if you're also, it's weird because if you're a TV anchor, your style on your reporting is going to be way different than someone like me who's writing for like a website on the internet.
Yes.
Right? Like John Clark has a different job than me at Eagles camp.
Then you're right.
Extremely different type of job. Right. Oh man.
And then like yeah, like it's funny, like when you talk about like people's, you're gonna find your niche, but I think people build their own niche as well. So like you're never gonna go down to the airport at 2 a.m. to chase a dude down. So it's not a part like of your coverage. Your coverage is a little bit different. But also some people have value, like you said, like some people are like they're always in the cameras, like making those crazy faces and stuff like that. Like it's different how all these people look.
I'm really excited for Sunday Night Football this week because, like we talked about a little before the show, it's my first NFL Sunday working for Philly Voice. There's gonna be a lot of excitement. There's gonna be figuring some things out in the flow of the game, what I can do. Gauging, watching Red Zone on the other TV, having the Eagles on, pre-writing stuff during the game, doing stuff in the immediate aftermath of the game.
Yeah.
But hopefully by 8:20, gives me a nice 4-hour buffer, sit and relax, kind of done work, and I could watch the Bucs play the Cowboys. Wow. That was a great season opener last year.
It was really good.
The Thursday night game.
I think
I was getting nervous during that one.
Yeah. There was I think they're at 60%. I personally like the thing where ESPN does. It says like what the nation is thinking. I think 62% has Dallas right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas as home dogs is probably a very rare thing.
That's a very rare thing. Yeah. Yeah.
However, I think Tampa Bay, Tom Brady has, in a very Michael Jordan-esque way, has created detractors and negative narratives in his head about what's going on.
Yep.
People said I should retire. People said I should stay retired. People are criticizing my personal life. Everyone thinks I'm divorced. Everyone thinks my wife left me. I'm going to go nuclear and throw for 5,200 yards, 43 touchdowns, and we're going to blow out Dallas on Sunday Night Football in Dallas.
I think that he does. He creates this along with that, the other.
That's like all the greats do that.
Yeah.
That's how you have to be. Like, not just like, oh, this guy's a Hall of Famer. If you're, the GOAT convo, you have to do stuff like that.
It's the Tiger thing, right? Like
it's sickening.
Oh, the details of my demise have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
So like you come in, he spent a month away from the team, and everybody's like, we hope you're okay, Tom. He comes back.
People think the Saints are going to win the division.
Yeah, right. You come back after a month, and people got the Saints beating you to win the division, and you're out of your mind, and you were looking for the fountain of youth, and your wife hates you, blah blah blah. So it's perfect. He's
You spent a
already
week with your kids and they
yeah.
already hated you. That's why you went back for
Right.
football.
You came back because your kids said this dude is so weird after a week already. So it's perfect. It's the perfect setup because he literally, I see him as a guy who um, he is not going to know. He's always going to be out of the house. Like he's not going to know what to do with himself when football is officially over. And I think that we see the same. We do see the same thing with the great ones. Like Shaq like retired for a year before he went to work for TNT and stuff like that. Like those guys just they have to beat you at something. So it makes so much sense that he's got this like weird narrative that
Yeah,
everybody wants him to fail now.
that's why he's the GOAT.
It really is, man. Like some people, it doesn't matter if it's manufactured or what. Like some people just find that motivation and they pull it out from deep where it is, and it works. It works for him.
But I was
And
told I couldn't get a job at PhillyVoice.com.
they didn't want me at Philly Voice.
They did not. Other games I'm looking at with intrigue this week, going through it now. Packers Vikings will be the game of the week on Fox.
Yeah.
425. That'll be a good one offensively. Chiefs Cardinals in Arizona. Chiefs are 6-point road favorites. I don't know if we've discussed this, but I've been thinking Cards have some kind of combustible component this year.
Oh, they're my.
We talked about Kyler a lot. I feel.
Yeah,
like.
we put
all that weirdness. I could see it crashing and burning this year.
They are definitely on my fraud alert list. They're probably number one. I would say you can only pick one, but if I could pick one, it definitely would be the Cardinals.
And then Raiders Chargers. I don't know if that game will be on in Philly yet. It's the weekly TV map that
might be blacked out. That
might be not shown in Philly.
But I get that. Yeah.
Chargers are home 3-point favorites against the Raiders. Should be an offensive explosion. It'll be an elite red zone game, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll be flicking back and forth.
Oh yeah. It's with the Monday night. There's some juice, even if the Seahawks are god awful with Russ returning to Seattle, right? Funny how those things work out.
Isn't that funny how that works? I read the Broncos were starting to become a lot of people's little out of the blue pick for a Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are being picked to be one of the bottom feeders. So it's just really funny what a difference a quarterback makes.
I'm looking at the college football slate for this weekend. We have Saturday at 3:30 on ABC. Number 24 Tennessee travels to face number 17 Pitt. Tennessee 6.5-point road favorites.
Which is
I haven't made any bets on college this week. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. If I were to do one, I'm leaning right now to taking Pitt as home dogs after that big, colossal win last week on national TV.
Tennessee is tricky because I say this as someone who has bet on them before. They don't always win when they're supposed to win. So they're of that ilk. They're a team that can be just as mystifying as they are just good. And so we'll see. I mean, I think this is this will be a very interesting matchup for them. I think that Pitt is very good, coming off a huge win. So, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. I think that would be a push for me.
And I guess there are Florida Gators a little bit, have jumped from unranked to 12th, have leapfrogged the Utah Utes. This should be one of the better games this weekend. Number 20 Kentucky travels to the Swamp. ESPN 7 o'clock. Florida 4.5 favorites.
There's no rest for the weary because Kentucky's actually really good. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I'm not saying like immediate lay the wood on Florida minus 4.5, but I might not bet that one and just kick up the feet, crack one open, and watch that baby.
That's going to be fun game to watch. And for Kentucky's never on national TV, so for anyone who has never seen Kentucky play, their offensive line needs some work, but they have some really good skilled players, and they have a defense that that can bring it when it wants to. So that's gonna be a good one to watch for sure.
I think they're the most underrated Power Five team of the last half dozen years, half decade, just because they're pigeonholed so much as a basketball school, and it's impossible for them to actually win the SEC given all of the talent there and all
Right.
those other entrenched. The other teams in the SEC are what Kentucky is in basketball, right? Like Alabama and Georgia, or what Kentucky is to college hoops. So they're always going to get buried there. But I think if you watch Kentucky a lot over the last few years, they are a really talented team. They can recruit really well, which says a lot for someone who, if you think you're the best player in Kentucky, you're probably pretty close to going to Alabama or Georgia.
And
they've been really well coached.
And the other issue is, right, they're getting they actually just went through a bit of a beef with the basketball team. More specifically, John Calipari himself. I shouldn't say the players hate each other, but Calipari, in so many words, called Kentucky a basketball school, and the football dudes took some umbrage to that. But I mean, you gotta call a spade a spade, I presume. But they are a team that they might not get the respect they're due until they do win, or get close to an SEC championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mean just 1 year. They're gonna need consistent years of it. It's almost the reverse. It's like if you took a football school and said, oh, all of a sudden they have a top 10 ranked basketball team. So
I guess we've seen a little bit with Alabama hoops being pretty good the last couple of years.
Alabama hoops been good. I would also probably put there was those years, a little bit pre, and maybe 1 or 2 years post Ben where LSU basketball was pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, something like along those lines of not a historic power all of a sudden having. I mean, we've seen it in both sports. All it takes is one good recruiting class, and you change forever.
I was talking about such a thing this past weekend on Saturday. If Appalachian State doesn't beat Michigan that year, their entire trajectory of not just the football program, where they've consistently been a team that's floating in the top 30 range.
Yep.
The university at large is so different if not for that.
Yep.
It takes one game, takes one season.
Yep. Like that, it's funny to see that too, because I mean, look what another one is Davidson. Look at what happened to Davidson during and after the Steph years. It really is completely different. I mean, there's Loyola Chicago. The list goes on and on. It's crazy to look at what one specific moment does for these teams and these universities and how much money they bring in. It's amazing.
Yeah. Want to wrap things up?
Yeah, cool with me, man.
Plug it.
I was about to say, we got to plug it. Do it.
So recording this Tuesday, September 6th, early evening. Next Thursday night, September 15th, at Liberty Grounds, indoor mini golf bar with so many local beers on tap, so much local drinking, great food. 1600 West Gerard Ave. Zoe and I will be doing a live episode, a live recording of the Odds and Zones podcast. Great time. Come out, talk ball. Thursday night football will be on. It'll be Chiefs Chargers. Come there around 7 o'clock. We'll be there before talking ball, talking Eagles. For Eagles fans, hopefully are 1-0 going into that Monday night football game, that home opener that next Monday. Show will kick off around 7:30. Come there, have some fun, have some drinks. Let's get ready for the Eagles.
I cannot wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. We've gotten a lot of good feedback from friends and partners who look to be there and come out and support. So we encourage everybody come hang out for a little bit. Nice. It'll be a nice fall Thursday. Actually, the last Thursday of summer, the last official Thursday of summer, actually. But yeah, man, come hang out. I think that one of the things I'm most excited about is just the atmosphere. Nice Thursday night football party, and kind of hang out and I'm excited for everyone to see just how cool the layout is there. I think a lot of people,
the imagery, the wall art,
yep,
the mural type
yep.
stuff from Paul
So
Carpenter,
it's
great
really,
Philly
really,
artist. It's
you
great.
can tell it's a Philly place, and a bunch of Philly guys run it. It's really, really cool.
All right. I'll probably have an episode of From the Bleachers dropping this week. You could follow Zo on Twitter at tweets_by_Zo. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Shamus_Clancy. You can subscribe to Zo's newsletter. Check out rightstoRickySanchez.com to find that there. Come to the live pod. We'll talk soon. Maybe after an Eagles week 1.
Right.
Maybe.
We'll preface it with maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. Peace.
Peace.